Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. For those of you that are here with us live, happy Friday. And for those of you that are watching this recording at a later time, welcome and thank you for joining us. My name is Michael Gault, and I'm an eminent domain attorney with Bell Carrington, Price and Gregg. We have locations here throughout South Carolina and throughout the Southeast. And at Bell Carrington, it's my role to lead our eminent domain department. And in that area, we represent and we specialize in representing landowners in eminent domain matters against various state governments and state departments of transportation. And that's why we're here today, is to talk about one particular project in the Myrtle Beach area down around Garden City. It's the Garden City Intersections Improvement Project along Highway 17. And so if you live or work in this area, then there's a very good chance that you're familiar with, and there's a fairly good chance that you're impacted by this project. In fact, if you heard from us, then our information that we received from the SCDOT indicates that you are impacted in some way by this project. And that's why we wanted to reach out to you, just to offer to give some general advice and information about this project, eminent domain in general. Obviously with a public forum like this, we can't give legal advice. But we are going to give some general information about the eminent domain process, about this project. And later in the stream, we're going to invite you to reach out to us directly to see if there's some way that we may be able to identify your particular impact and to see how we may be able to help you going forward. So let's begin by just looking at the project in general. This project primarily features intersection improvements along 4 major intersections along 17 Business down around Garden City. Those 4 intersections are 17 Business and Inlet Square Drive, Atlantic Avenue, the Garden City Connector, and Tadlock Drive. I know from speaking with some other clients that we have on this project that right-of-way acquisition, which is the first process for a project like this, is starting up now. It's just getting ready to be kicked off. And so how does that process work? Well, if you're impacted, then the first step is that the DOT or one of their representatives is going to reach out to you to let you know that you're impacted. They're probably going to approach you with an appraiser, maybe a right-of-way agent, to say, hey, we believe that you're impacted. Here's how we think you're impacted, and here's what we're going to offer you for that impact. It's important for you to know as a landowner that you don't have to accept that offer. That oftentimes there are things that are missed. There are damages that may be missed on a particular landowner's property that the DOT may not catch the first time around. And so it's important for you to know that you have rights as a landowner, and among the most important of those rights is the right to just compensation. Just compensation means that although the state may have the right under the theory of eminent domain to take the property that they need, the private property that they need to complete a public purpose project like this intersection improvement, you too have a right to be fairly and adequately compensated for the land that they're taking from you. And so that's where we come in. We help landowners throughout this state, and with our other offices throughout the Southeast, help landowners in other states identify what is just compensation. We help make sure that the DOT is not missing anything when it comes to the valuation of your property or to any damages that may result to the property going forward. You only have one bite at the apple. And so ultimately your property is likely going to be damaged beyond what the DOT says that it is. And those damages may account to things in the after, meaning things that continue on down the road. And we want to make sure that you're compensated on the front end, because if you go a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road and realize that the acquisition on this project impacted your property beyond something that you were able to see, you're not then able to come back and retroactively claim what you were owed when you realize those damages some years down the road. And so a couple of things. I want to make sure that you know that our contact information is in the chat box. We have a phone number and an email address, and we invite you to reach out to us directly at that, either way, whatever's best for you, via email or through a phone call. I'm standing by and our team is standing by, and we're happy to speak with you. We can guarantee you that at Bell Carrington, we have no cost, no obligation consultations. We invite you to reach out to us. We want to speak with you to find out number one, if you're impacted, and number two, if you are, how we may be able to help you moving forward. Again, you can't really talk about each impact in a project like this, but what we can do is invite you to reach out to us. And while we're on the phone during that initial consultation, we are fortunate enough at Bell Carrington to have some software that will allow me in real time while we're on the phone to pull up an aerial view of your property and the impact that we have in a GIS program to be able to tell you if you're impacted and to give you a general sense of what that impact looks like. It's very beneficial for us when we're in those initial consultations to be able to access that information quickly and to be able to convey that to you clearly so that we can establish, if there's a chance that we may be able to help you or if we need to help you moving forward. The second thing that I want to tell you about the eminent domain process at Bell Carrington is that is regarding our fee structure. So I'll speak to this generally, and I'll be happy to speak to it more directly during a one-on-one consultation. But we operate in eminent domain cases on what's known as a contingency fee basis, and that essentially means that you're not going to pay out-of-pocket fees. You don't have any money due up front. There's no retainer due up front or out of pocket at any time. Instead, we operate on a percentage of the recovery, be that through the settlement of the case or ultimately through a verdict at a jury trial, if it happens to go that far. But it's important to know that you don't have to pay out of pocket. Instead, our fee is a percentage of what we're able to recover for you from the condemning authority, which in this case is the South Carolina Department of Transportation. So just to recap, this project, while relatively small in the number of parcels being impacted, is not small when it comes to the impact. Every property that is impacted by this project has a major impact because of the locations of the properties and the values of the properties. This is a high value real estate area. This is an area that is growing rapidly, full of commercial enterprises. And so it's important for you, if you're a business owner or a private residential landowner even, to reach out to make sure that your rights are protected, that you know exactly what the impact to your property is, and that you make sure that the just compensation that's coming to you is what you are fairly and adequately deserving at the end of the day. So again, Michael Gault with Bell Carrington, I want to thank you for joining us. I hope that some of this information about the eminent domain process has been beneficial for you. The contact information is there, my email and phone number, and I invite you to reach out to me. I'm happy to speak with you anytime. Thank you again for joining us and have a nice weekend. Thanks.